How's it going, everybody? This is Warren Marlowe off the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. Let's talk pro wrestling edition. Guys, I hope all is well. If you are new to the channel, make sure, just make sure a little bit. If you can share, most importantly, subscribe, set the notification bell to stay in content with all our platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of that at Buzzing with Marlowe. And obviously, you could check us out on this page right here on the Let's Talk Sports Network, where we are also aired on Roku as well, guys. So thank y'all. And this is an awesome adventure, guys. A lot of stuff has been going on in pro wrestling. I mean, oh my goodness. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in pro wrestling. Um, let's start it off first. Let's talk about the WWE. They just had Clash of the Castle. I really like that show. With a guy named Gunter versus Sheamus. Oh my goodness, that match was insane, guys. Hard hitting match. Story was told in so many different ways. I think the biggest thing for Sheamus was it showcased him not as a heel, and he got challenged really much more into this match. Basically, he was told, "Hey, man, you're not the hard hitting guy in this one," and that match showed. I mean, Sheamus took a beating. Now, don't get me wrong. He gave a fight back to Gunter as well, but that match was just so hard hitting. Very old school, basic, over the seas type match. And oh my gosh, it was a beautiful masterpiece. I mean, prayers go out to both of their chests. Like, wow. But the match was so freaking good. I think that was probably still the match of the night, in my opinion. But then we had, the women's champion. We had the women's match where Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka faced Bayley and her new group, Damage Control, which is with Dakota Kai and Io Sky. It wasn't a bad match. I think they showcased very well all three women on both teams. Bianca Belair has been the new sensation. I mean, she has came from a long way. I remember watching her on NXT. I did not see her being a main roster, big name caliber wrestler. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because just did not see it in NXT with her, because they didn't. I mean, she didn't really get that much on there. I mean, she got the undefeated streak. I'm thinking, because they're trying to promote her, trying to get her all her stuff established, and she has really came a long way. Still say to this day, if she didn't do that match with Sasha Banks, I don't think we would still see the potential that we see in Bianca Belair right now. But back to that match, Alexa Bliss got to have a very good showing. Asuka, very good showing. And of course, you had Bianca. She's always been doing good in the ring so far. Bayley, so good to see her back in the thing. I still say that's probably going to be the top woman in business right now. With her back, that just helps that women's division elevate up. Dakota Kai has always been a good wrestler. She needs to work on her expressions and being more of a character. Io Sky, there's nothing bad I can say about this girl. She can be a great character. She can do in-ring work. She can walk off the freaking sky for some reason. Like, it's so crazy, like, how high that girl can get off. I mean, she was no joke in New Japan when it came to jumping off the top ropes and stuff like that. So definitely wasn't a shocker to that, but it was a good showing from all of them. And the end results was Bayley and Damage Control won. And I think that was well put for them too, because they need to be established as the new woman faction. So, and with Bayley there, you cannot can't go wrong with this one, period. But very good match. I really liked the Clash of the Castle, showing that they all got out of that. The next match was one of my favorite feuds that was going on. Um, Matt Riddle versus freaking Seth Rollins. My gosh, that match was what it needed to be delivered. Seth finally got one of the cleanest wins that he could have in a long time. It looked very personal, which is so good to do in wrestling. You want to make something look real. I get it. We got this world of pro wrestling. People think it's fake and all that, man. I done 6 good years in this business. Not saying I did it in the WWE level, but I was pretty well known, and I wrestled 6 years. And my opinion is you don't get hurt if it's fake. So just saying that one on that, but great match between these two guys. Matt Riddle really showcased what he can do. Um, Matt Riddle has came a freaking long way. I will say that. Like Riddle is a great talent. I used to not like him just because I don't believe in people wrestling barefooted, but it works for him. I mean, he's a good character. He tells a story in the ring. He can work a mic. He can work the crowd. He can do so much different things. I really wish if Randy never got hurt, I really wish we could have got the Riddle turn into a bad guy. I think that would have been a really cool showcase with him on that. But the match with him and Seth Rollins, that build up they had from SummerSlam to now was so good. I was very proud of that one. Um, the end result, I mean, Seth Rollins coming out to whatever attire that possibly was. That was very interesting. Like Seth Rollins looks like he's having a lot of fun with this character that he has gotten. Um, I mean, we were all known for him when we got the Mania match with him and Cody Rhodes, and him and Cody Rhodes just killed it every single time that they would go against each other. Um, but I think Seth really jumped up on one of the top wrestlers in the world when you're working somebody that has a torn bicep. I'm in a torn pec, and y'all showcase a phenomenal match. Still with someone with a torn pec. That is still just insane to me, and it showed that old school background. Like, hey, rub the dirt on it and just go out there and perform. And that was something that I saw with Riddle and Seth. And it was so good. I was really proud of the results. I was proud of how it went, everything. So, very proud of that match. The next match we got to go with and we're going to talk about is Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. I wasn't really. No, my bad. No. Shayna Baszler. I was kind of shocked on the ending result. Liv came out there, and I will say this: Liv worked a really good match. Liv did very well. She was over with the crowd, which was a big deal because she's supposed to be showcased as a good guy. Shayna Baszler came out there like the old Shayna we remember from the Queen of Spades. I mean, one of the top talents in NXT when she was there uh, as a bad guy. I mean, she actually would beat some of the dudes as a bad guy background. Like I loved when the one match that I will like literally got me so much in tune with Shayna was the match that she did with Toni Storm and Shayna, and I think she broke her arm. I don't know if she really did break her arm, but she told the story like she broke her arm, and she went out there. She did something to Toni Storm to just keep her down for a little bit, and then Shayna went out to the ring and pushed, literally just boom into the turnbuckle. I mean into the turnbuckle pole right there, and to place her shoulder back in, put her shoulder back in. And that's something I really thought was so so big to do, because you want to tell a story. Like, we were telling the story with your body. You got to tell the movement, the ways you go, and everything like that. So I love the fact that she just boom placed her shoulder, put her shoulder right back in place from that, because I'm like, okay, even if that wasn't real, like, you believed it because you saw what happened. So now when she goes to pick somebody up, it's going to be a little harder to pick up at first. And Shayna told a major great story that way. So Shayna came in there wrestling Liv. It was a good thing for both women, because Shayna needed to showcase that she's still the Queen of Spades. Like, she is still that dominant bad guy. Liv needed to showcase that she is not just a one-hit pony champion. She's not just the one that you wish that got the title and then drop it off and lose it. Like, she legit worked her butt off. Like, one thing I did see when I respected with Liv was working with Riddle outside of the ring, and they were doing MMA training backgrounds things so she could get into this tune to wrestle and to really get to that level of Shayna. And I loved the match. The match was super showcased well. The submissions into pinfalls and all that, you don't see those much anymore. I loved it. Shayna actually sometimes had some doubt in the match for a little bit, just because Liv would just continuously keep trying to hook an arm, hook the leg. Like, those are some things that I loved about it. The best thing about the whole match card from Clash of the Castle was you had so many different things. You had Sheamus and Gunter. Gunter and Sheamus literally were one of the hard hitting match of that night. Period. By far, their chest says it all for them. Let me see if actually I can get a picture of how the guys' chests were. Literally, like, that was insane to me. All right, let's see if I can find it. Gunter versus Sheamus. As y'all can see, guys, y'all can see the results of Sheamus's chest, man. He took some major chops through that night. I mean, just looking at that, they weren't playing around. Sheamus got showcased very well that match, just from that. Just super good. I was trying to find one of Gunter. They got the light on it. But yeah, guys, that was definitely a different mind animal for that match. It was crazy. But the thing with Shayna and Liv, the ending results was Liv pulled it out and beat Shayna, which is a big showcase for Liv. Liv has got to be that top babyface champion for the women's division and showcase it and prove that she's, like I said, not that one hit pony, basically. So with Liv getting that win, it really helped her out. I mean, that's a major title defense that she's no joke. And I thought it was showcased very well. The next match, I really was impressed with. I will tell you this right now. It was crazy. The match between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. I'm telling y'all right now, guys, I became a fan of Drew McIntyre after the video package. The video package of where he literally went. The video package where it basically just talked about the whole lifestyle of Drew McIntyre, how it came into the thing, how he got into the business and all that stuff. Like, Whew. Yeah, guys, that was crazy, 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 crazy showcase. I will tell you this right now. I became a Drew McIntyre fan from that video package. It showed Drew as it really helped showcase. One thing about wrestling is you want to show the art of both wrestlers. So obviously, if you're a bad guy, you want to show off the baby face. You it's your job to get the crowd to invest into that baby face. And as a baby face, it's your job to showcase the heel as the bad guy in front of the crowd. So these two did very well. I'm telling you right now, Roman's on the other level right now. Roman people get mad about, I'm tired of Roman being the champ and stuff like this, but Roman is the new modern day Triple H, guys. Roman cannot be touched right now, and I'm very proud of what they've done with him. All this, the match was so well. Oh my gosh, as many times that the expression with Roman when he hit them with the spear and Drew kicked out the second time, um, regarding with the referees getting beaten down, and then obviously the false finishes, and then where you got to see the Usos' young brother Siko come in, and bro, he's a real deal, and it's about time he got to come up. I think it was a little early. I think he needed a little bit more growth on the NXT genre. I think he should have had an NXT championship reign or something like that just to get him started up. But with the story, with the bloodline, that wasn't going to wait no more. Um, it was a good match, very good match. The ending was, you had an emotion towards it because it was Drew's home. I'm thinking, I picked Drew winning because I was like, Drew's going home. This is going to be the payoff from the WrestleMania that he won the title and a no fan in the stand type ordeal. Like, this is going to be his payoff for WrestleMania. And I mean, you know what? He may not have won the match, but he won a lot of people's hearts that night. He showcased what he could do. He showcased what he could be, all that. So I was not mad with that one bit. But there is one thing I do want to talk about in a match was the Judgment Day versus Ray and Edge. The anticipation of Mr. Little Dominic Mysterio. He flat out did what everybody's been waiting on. Turned on Daddy. And man, couldn't get a better reaction. I think it was a good way that they did it. Edge and Ray, the match was good. They did really well, and they beat the Judgment Day. Because it's been back and forth with Judgment Day, just because they've been a dominated team, but they're not winning a lot of matches. And thing about wrestling, to showcase the bad guys and showcase dominance, you got to win matches. And Judgment Day hasn't really been doing that since Finn has got to the equation, and obviously they're feuding with Edge. But I thought they did very well with this one. I mean, Dominic got involved in the match. Rhea attacked Dominic. Dominic grabbed, I think it was Finn's leg. He grabbed Finn's leg. Uh, Edge did the 619. That was a little crazy. Edge did the 619. And then Ray did the 619. And then I think Ray and Edge would be a great freaking tag team. That finish would be perfect. Ray do the 619, turns in, Edge just does the spear out of it. I like it. But the end result was Ray and Edge winning. Dominic turning on Edge. And then the shocker of it all, attacked his dad. I didn't expect him attacking his dad. I kind of wanted that to hold off a little bit more, but it had a story towards it. It literally Basically saying, fine, Dad, you pick Edge over me. Cool. Here you go. You lie in this. And it's been very interesting. Very interesting. All right, so we're gonna go to Monday Night Raw. No, actually, we'll do the All Out card. I know everybody's probably some AEW fans. I know there's been a lot of crazy AEW stuff going on right now. Whew. All in card. All right, no. All right, so the match card for this show. My goodness. All right. Let me add this in there. All right. All right, guys. The match card for All In. There was a lot of stuff that has been going on right now regarding the Bucks, CM Punk. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into that just because, I mean, it is what it is. People are people sometimes. Do I believe that shit should have went the way stuff it should have went? No. But it is what it is. But I'm going to talk about this match. I was very proud of this match. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. In my eyes, Jericho is the top guy in this business. Bryan is number 2. These two work so freaking well. So well. I thought it was showcased really well between these two. Jericho is still proving that he can be that guy to move, will operate, move around, do whatever he needs to do. I was all excited about this match. Obviously, the ending was Chris Jericho winning against Bryan Danielson, which was, I think, is great because Jericho's the big heel. You don't always get the big baby face to win the matches in the main thing. And apparently, when you face Y2J, you are up for a fight. The next match we're going to talk about is Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Long overdue. The feuds have been going very well. If you've never been a fan of Jungle Boy, I think Jungle Boy shocked the world with the promos and all that. I mean, he's really showcased himself. This is one thing I have said for AEW to do is showcase your talent that you've had from day one. Jungle Boy is one of those examples. Jungle Boy versus Christian. Well, needless to say, he got attacked by Luchasaurus. The first thing go off the rip, and then went back in the ring after being beaten up by Luchasaurus, and then taking a beating by Christian, and Christian getting the 1-2-3 count. So obviously, this feud I don't think is nowhere near over. It was good. It was a good match. One match I liked right here. I'm not a big Acclaim guys, but they have really been moving things and stuff like that. So seeing them face Swerve and Keith Lee, crazy to me. I will tell you this right now, man. Some of the guys that have been coming from WWE to AEW have not got showcased for nothing. They have great intros to get in and nothing to get out. But these two finally got something that I've waited for in WWE for so long. Keith Lee, man. Keith Lee, I believe, could have been a real big name in WWE. But Keith Lee finally got that in here, and I'm glad for Swerve Strickland as well. These two really work very well together. A great tag team. Now, outside of it, who knows what's gonna happen? But a lot of people were upset about this one. A lot of people were upset about the Acclaim winning that match. Um, I wasn't mad with it. I think it was too early for Keith Lee and Swerve to lose. Like they've been a very good tag team so far, and they need to have these contending matches to build up the tag team chemistry, build up the tag team itself, build up the tag team titles that we sit here and figure out and try to preach about every single week. Like those are the things you have to focus on when you see these showcase of a match. So I like the match. Um, Max Caster, he's starting to prove to me he can do stuff more than just be on the mic. He's very entertaining on the mic. I won't lie about it. I can't sit here and say, "Oh, he's terrible." No, he's very entertaining on the mic. He's starting to really showcase that he can really operate in the ring. And obviously, Anthony Bowens. Anthony Bowens is the muscle of that group. Uh, I don't see anything else for him if they ever split, but that's just my honest opinion. But I mean, he's a big boy. He can probably do something on his own with a single run, whatever. But right now, with the Acclaim, is probably the best golden ticket that those two got. And then you add in Billy Gunn in the mix as well. That's great to me because I think that's a great addition. You know, the scissor me daddy. You know, that's the new thing going on. Like just the little things like this is what you love about pro wrestling. Um, Guys, pro wrestling, you get to live a fantasy. You get to go wear costumes and fight and all that. Like it's nothing like it. Nothing like it, guys. But the ending results was Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland winning the match. Uh, I I loved it. It was a good match. They done really well. There were some small things that they need to like just slow it up on. Um, but they wrestle in front of Chicago. Chicago's crowd is going to go nuts regardless. Chicago's crowd, they like that fast paced operating type style of matches. But I will say this: the main benefit out of this match was Max Caster. Max Caster really showcased that he belonged in the ring, and that's a big deal with somebody now because now you are showing your resume that hey, I'm not just this guy that can rock these headphones and rap all the time now. I can also be one of your guys now. So look out, man. Max Caster is going to be a pretty daggone big name pretty soon. And I've called it right here. So if this man keeps working some matches like he's doing now and keeps that promo genre up to a level, he's going to be somebody you're going to really remember really, really soon. He's already one of those names that stays in AEW more than most of them. So definitely look out for Max Caster. Next match, Tony Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Ishida, I think is his name. I can't remember. I don't, one of the New Japan girls. Um, Everybody said out of five, read the votes. Everyone said anyone but Britt. Anyone but Britt Baker. Um, it was a good match. I'm not gonna say it's great. There's a lot of things that all these women need to learn to do is slow down. That's my honest opinion. When you slow down the ring, you see the speed level, you see the operation of how to work an audience. The object of wrestling is to work an audience. And I saw a good portion of it. And I'm telling you right now, man, I don't know why everybody's upset with Britt. Britt has actually came a long way. Um, Britt is just not just another pretty face. She's really proven that she is putting in the work to get to be that lady there. Uh, Jamie Hayter, I love the story that she said and told in this match. She was kind of like the muscle of Britt for a little while, and then obviously at the end you see, oh, it's kind of like, oh no, why would you pin me type thing or that, or break the pin and all that. So it was interesting to see the story with them. but the end result was Tony Storm winning, which is a big deal. Even though it's an interim championship, I don't believe in those at all. If your woman champion is not there, they should be forfeiting the title more than if they're out for 3 weeks minimal, 3 or 4 weeks minimal. That's it. Don't hold no interim championship, and we'll talk about one of those in a minute. Um, but yeah, Tony Storm coming out pulling the victory, like she could win the big one, which is a big deal for Tony. I've said it numerous times since all these guys from the big company drops down and released, and then they go sign with the midwife company. You know, they don't get showcased as much as they used to, and I love when they sit there and say why they went there and how much happier they are, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, you're barely even doing more than what you were on that card over there. Like at least you were main eventing something over there, not this. And I'm curious to see what the story goes with Tony Storm, with her being an interim champ. Um, I'm very curious to see what's going to go down with that. Uh, there's been a lot of rumors going around too. We'll go over that as well. But it's good to see Tony Storm winning this match. I'm not going to go over the whole card and all out, guys. It's a very long card. Um, but I'm just going to talk about some of the matches that really were there. Another match, uh, the Trios Championship match. You had the Dark Order versus the Elite, which is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. If anybody knows me, I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks. I'm slowly becoming somewhat invested into Kenny Omega. I will say, like, his in-ring work is unparalleled. There's no one compared to him. Now the wrestling part come out of me. You're based off your character. You're based off of, showcasing to the audience, showcasing to the crowd that you are different than everyone else. Kenny doesn't do that. Kenny just is a wrestler. He's not a character. And I think for him to call himself the cleaner, I don't understand it. If somebody wants to tell me, hop in the chat and come in and tell me. But Kenny Omega is a good wrestler, but he's not a character. And that's one thing I don't have investment in with him, is because I tell people all the time, in wrestling, you want to be like Marvel. When I say you want to be like Marvel, you want to be showcased, looked at as like somebody sees somebody off of a superhero film. I'm not saying by muscular or anything like that. I'm talking about like literally look at them and see what they do in the ring, and they the best ones to do what they're doing in the ring. And I don't see that with Omega, with the character, but the match itself was pretty well done. The back and forth between him and Adam Page and the Bucks, that was really cool. They told a story with that as well. And then obviously the end result, after they've been preaching about this trios title forever, they finally got it. So the Bucks and Kenny Omega won the Trios Championship. The first ever Trios Championship that they have. I don't think that many companies have a Trios belt. Definitely not in the U.S. Definitely not in the U.S. AAA, I'm pretty sure they have one, but not anywhere else. So congrats to the Bucks and Kenny Omega. They won the Trios title. Matches. Let's go with the main event. Everybody knows, if you know me, I don't like one particular guy. Never will. Never have, and I never will. And that's CM Punk. He faced Moxley. And that was another guy I didn't like for a long time. But I will tell y'all this, and I've acknowledged this on other podcasts, and I'll say it here as well. I've got invested into Jon Moxley in AEW. I didn't get invested into Dean Ambrose in WWE. I just thought he was a very skinny Mick Foley, just a accidental prone skinny guy. I didn't see him as a wrestler. I didn't see him as anything, which he's a character. Like he's done his character for so long. But seeing John Moxley, I never saw a difference between Moxley and Ambrose. Still don't, but they've done so much more with him. Moxley has been wrestling matches. His character, it's just a crazy dude, and I love it now because Moxley is getting more showcase, more star power. Moxley's probably one of the best things going right now in there. Um, just all around, Moxley has really been the stepping stone of AEW, in my opinion. Uh, Moxley facing CM Punk. Obviously, you're in Punk's home, Chicago. The weirdest thing about this, and I've acknowledged this so many other times, CM Punk is always going to be popular in Chicago, which is going to be a fact. But the wheels kind of turned in Chicago this go around. The wheels were 50-50. You have CM Punk fans, you had Moxley fans in Chicago. This is Punk's home. This should be his big moment. This is his Pop-a-Roo, all this should be going right, left and right. That didn't go well. Punk got the victory at the end. They told the story with his foot. Moxley was mocking it, just doing their little provocative things, but the ending result was Punk beating Moxley in Chicago. I did want to talk about one match before I wanted to talk about that match before I say what happened after that. All right, so guys, there was a promo. It was about six or 7 months ago now. There was a thing going, somebody did not go to a fan fest thing. And it really upsetted Tony and upsetted the fans. And it kind of almost affected a story. One of the major key stories that was going on and I'm talking about Wardlow versus MJF. That was one of the most compelling stories that they've had on AEW in a long time, in my opinion. And, somebody didn't want to go to FanFest because he wasn't getting paid much or something. I can't remember exactly what the reason was. So, everybody was scared. They didn't think Wardlow and MJF were going to face each other at the pay-per-view, at the show. And needless to say, MJF showed up. He did the job. Everybody says he got squashed. I think he did well. I think he sold himself like a heel should. He showcased what he needed to do. Wardlow was a lot bigger than him, so he had to. Wardlow's going to take most of the offense in this. That's being very obvious. Like, you have to see that. Wardlow is double the size of MJF, so of course he's going to take over in this match. It's not really a squash. It's really what makes sense. But end results was MJF losing to Wardlow. So MJF comes on the next night on Dynamite and shoots a promo regarding Tony. Called him a mark. He wasn't happy here. Tony's not giving anybody opportunity. He's always gambling on the big brand release guys and all that. Like, you didn't know if it was what we call a work, or is that a shoot? And when I say a shoot, that means real in wrestling. It was a bit of both. I think it was kind of just like how CM Punk's pipe bomb in WWE. It was partially work, but also a shoot at the same time, just because he had animosity with something. I think that was the same thing with Tony. Well, someone's gone for 6 months. There was a ladder match. It had, I'm sorry guys, I can't say his name, Antonio, but he was Cesaro in WWE. There was Wheeler Yuta. You had, I can't remember all the names of the guys. It doesn't Andrade. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter who all the guys were in this ladder match because the ending result was you had 5 guys come out attacking everybody in the ring. You had someone climbing up the ladder and found out it was Stokely. Stokely came down, and then you had all the 5 guys reveal themselves. Actually, not all 5 guys revealed themselves. There was one more person that were waiting into the ladder match. And needless to say, it was a guy that was in a hood wearing a mask, and he walked down. Stokely handed him the chip, which means he won the ladder match. And all through the show, you were trying to find out who that guy is. Who's that Joker? We thought suspects that it could have been MJF. We could have thought about suspects it could have been somebody else because MJ, it just looked like a smaller guy. And guys, I'm gonna tell you now, when you go to the ring, when you're out of the ring for a while, you're gonna get that lean look because you're not doing this type of thing all the time anymore. So you're gonna lean out a little bit more because your body's more relaxed and chilled and stuff like that. Well, needless to say, you find out who that Joker is at the end of the match with CM Punk and Moxley. And guys, and I said it from day one, if this guy did not come, if there was one certain individual that did not show up to the show, it would not have been anything. It wouldn't have been what they needed. Needless to say, guys, the Joker was MJF. MJF came out and signaled the Punk, did the outline of the title belt on his waist. All right, and that was all out. All right, so we have Monday Night Raw. They've been red hot lately. The stories have been very compelling. I will say the wrestling aspect has gotten more improved in WWE, but also just the characters are doing so much more. And I will say that I love that the characters are getting more invested into the matches and it's starting to showcase more with their character development. But Monday Night Raw happened. Um, I'm waiting on Cody to come back. I think that's going to be really cool to see Cody Rhodes back. That pop is going to be insane. But Monday Night Raw coming back. Got Roman, the Bloodline, now newer made. Still got Sami Zayn as well, guys. So what's going to happen with Sami Zayn? Like, there's just so many different options that's going to go flow with that. Stories with the women's division. How's all this going to compel through? It's going to be insane, obviously, and obviously with Dynamite, what's going to go on with Dynamite. But I think this is going to be the closing. We're going to just talk about All In, and I mean, obviously, Clash of the Castle. I think that was a good one just to talk about. We could cover the NXT against the Worlds. The one match I will say that really stood out to me was obviously Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate. I thought that was a very good showcase between both of them. Great match. Tyler Bate is insane. Insane. I'm a big Tyler Bate fan. This dude has grown for so much. Braun Breaker, the WWE mold from the old 90 era. I think it's going to be so good. It's literally the Goldberg that can move. When I say the Goldberg that can move, the Goldberg that literally can move around, athletically gifted, all that. Like, that is the Braun Breaker mold. And you will see him on the main roster really, really soon where he is going to be around. He's going to be around. Obviously, Braun Breaker winning the title, so he won the UK title and the NXT title at the same time. The women's title, those titles got combined. Mandy Rose versus Davenport versus the UK champion. And needless to say, guys, I'm telling y'all right now, don't diss this woman. She is getting better. She did very well in this match. I was really eerie at first with it because I was just like, I don't know if Mandy's going to fit with them, but it was great. The finish was very well put down, and Mandy Rose is your new Women's UK champ and NXT Women's champ now. So she's got two belts on this thing now, and the picture with her imitating Shawn Michaels' own thing where the belts are only covering her. She did it better than Shawn. I'm sorry. She did it better than Shawn. But that show was actually not bad, man. I'll tell you this, since, Triple H is back, there's been a lot of changes. Not just necessarily with the roster. It's been a lot of changes just with the wrestling aspect and how they are visualizing, how they're watching the shows, how they're doing everything. And I think it's all fitting well. There's some things that need to be worked on. Absolutely. There's always going to be something that needs to work on. There's a problem if there's not something that needs to be worked on. AEW. Now let's go over and talk about these rumors. Let's talk about the rumors. If anybody didn't watch the All Out after the show, they did a YouTube thing called the Media Scrum. Tony, you need to stop doing these because these are going to bury you. And I'm going to tell you why. You came on there and had a whining fest talking about, I'm not taking this, da 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 da. Bro, what do you expect? You are in the world of pro wrestling. Do you not realize how many people were at Vince McMahon's neck every single week threatening? I mean, oh my goodness. And you think this is going to be a small dandy thing because you wanted to start a wrestling promotion and you were throwing shots at a big company when y'all haven't even been around that long? Yes, you're going to get that. You got to have a tough skin to get in this business. And Tony coming in there, you talking about, hey, I'm not going to deal with this. He was talking about Jim Crockett. And then he was like, but I got way more money. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have an experience with this. I've seen this happen on the indies. And I say this till day one, man. Tony is a fanboy. Tony is not the businessman. You want to know why? CM Punk wouldn't have won this match if he was a businessman. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega wouldn't have won those trios titles if he was a businessman. There's a lot of decisions I just don't believe that they should have. An interim champion would not be even involved into these things if he was a businessman. Just saying. But he talking about he has way more money. My experience in the indies, man, doesn't matter. Just think. The biggest problem is you keep drawing all these big names and doing all you need to do, you find yourself bankruptcy. So hopefully he fixes that and gets what he needs to get done because, man, don't be going on press conferences and just cussing all the time, man. You need to really be that businessman. You need to really show that you have control of that show. You don't see Vince McMahon every week on a press conference talking bad about somebody. Like, he acknowledges it. He talks about, he doesn't say it in any wrong way. But now Vince McMahon as a person, that's a different thing. But as a businessman aspect, that's why he's been one of the best ones going out. And obviously with Triple H running it now, it's just a different aspect. And the biggest problem that I have with Tony as well, you let Punk shoot off way too much than he needed to. You let Punk not only your big workers, your higher up guys, but also you let Punk talk about one of your original guys that's been there since day one. You sat there and when Adam Page won his title, you sat there and said that was one of the most storytelling moments of yours because you saw somebody grow from this company to win the big one. And you let Punk, because you're a CM Punk fan, shoot off talking about Adam Page like he did. And You didn't try to pull the mic away from Punk. You just sat there and just let him go. Now we saw some of the facial expressions of Tony, and you could tell he didn't like some of it, but he didn't say nothing. You the boss. You should be speaking up to tell them. Speak up. Tell them, hey, this is not what needs to be done. Well, needless to say, guys, he went to the media scrum. At the end of it, the Young Bucks didn't like what they heard. Apparently, they went and tried to talk to him. Something happened. Then they went back to talk to him next day. Rumor is that Punk, Steel, and so the altercation was with Punk, Steel, the Young Bucks, Omega, and Daniels. Christopher Daniels as well. And Ace Steel. And apparently a chair was thrown and knocked out one of the Bucks, I think. But biggest thing is I want to say on this, guys, don't air this stuff. Like, why would y'all tell anything on revolving this? Like, how is it in a room and all of a sudden people are getting revealed on these things? Like, at first I'm thinking, it might be a work, whatever. It could probably still be. But this is looking bad on the company. Really bad. Really, really bad. They really need to pick stuff up. And now we got a lot of releases going on. Let's talk about those. We got Malachi Black, a.k.a., if you remember him in WWE, his name was Aleister Black. He got his release granted after the first one was denied. Released for mental health. And then there was another one. Your AEW Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa. They were trying to say that she requested to leave. Thunder Rosa did not request to leave. AEW fired her. So those are just some of the things that the rumors are swirling. What's going to happen in Dynamite? What's all this? But guys, that's going to be the end of that one. I just wanted to cover Cash to the Castle and All In, and obviously talk a little bit about the NXT, but just to talk about more of it too. MLW, they're coming back real soon. They will be in Atlanta on their next tapings, that's going to be really cool to see. There's a lot of awesome things just going on in pro wrestling itself. But obviously the WWE starting to get their rep back up, which they never really lost. It's just the adult fan base, I think, is getting more involved in. AEW are looking more like dumpster fires every week. So if you don't believe me, just research it and you do your look at it. But yeah, guys, this is going to be the first cover up about Talk Pro Wrestling. I will be back next week. But also, guys, you can catch me out on my podcast, obviously right here, Buzzing with Marlowe. We are aired on Fridays, every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have new guests, new chat, new topics every single week. This week's episode is going to be with Crystal Burnett. Basically just talking about pro wrestling. Crystal's got a little brother that is on the autism spectrum as well, and they love to watch pro wrestling together. And something that they've been able to help find an escape zone from everything that her brother goes through to watch pro wrestling. So check that out. It's going to be an awesome chat. She's a great, great guest, great talk. I mean, she's also a podcaster. She is the Miss Universal. I'd still say she probably can face Roman Reigns pretty soon. I'm just saying. But yeah, guys, I thank y'all. Shout out to Let's Talk Sports. Y'all for giving us a platform to hop on and talk about pro wrestling. And there's going to be a lot of new things coming up. We're going to be with guests talking about wrestling, doing a Q&A, maybe do like a roundtable ordeal. And also you can catch me out on my other podcasts as well. We have a segment called Let's Talk About It on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where We talk the tough questions. I have a good friend of mine named Michelle Williams. We basically we talk about the tough questions. So I talk about the men questions that men don't like asking women or are scared to ask women, and then she talks about the questions that women be wanting to ask men but are scared to ask them. So it's a great little segment. Obviously, guys, I'm one of the voice of wrestlings in ways. You can catch me out on Commission Talks as well, where we talk at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Wednesday. Just talk about pro wrestling. It's 3 podcasters turned into just one group. We have myself from the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. We have my buddy Dreon Willis from the 1130 podcast, and I have my brother from another mother, Shiz the Blackheart Lansky from Off the Top Ropes podcast. And we also have a new addition, Mr. Cyber Yeti, as well. So, and it forms the commission. We talk about wrestling. We talk about everything that's going on. So, and there's no filter. So if y'all are into those things, if you're not, I'm more nicer on these. So, guys, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all next week. And if y'all need to, make sure y'all like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Stay in tune with all our platforms: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all of that. Just type at Buzzing with Marlowe, and that's all of them, man. I thank y'all, guys. This was a fun time. Very awesome thing just to talk about pro wrestling, and it's great to be a fan of wrestling and stuff. And obviously, as y'all can see, I've been working very diligently, and I'm in the process of coming back in the ring just for one more last match. Looking so forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll talk about that more next week. But guys, I'm Warren Marlowe, and I will see y'all when I have more buzz with wrestling next week. Later.